All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are doing Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and 65. That's right, two movies back to back. And we have special guest Sanch joining later. We're trying something a little new. Me and Brian went and saw Shazam, and then Andrew, Aiden, and Sanch are doing 65 after. So,
Yep.
that came out pretty well too. So if you want to hear that, go listen to that, or stay tuned and listen to both, right? So, this is usually the part where we talk Mandalorian talk, and I've only seen the first two episodes. There are 4 out now.
Oh, well, yeah, as of
Yeah.
today of recording, the fourth one had just dropped like 12 hours ago.
Yeah, so you've seen all 3, right?
Yes, I've seen all 3. So, like, if you want to talk about it briefly without me spoiling it,
Yeah, so Spencer told me in front of the pod, told me that there's like an annoying doctor plot or something in the third one that kind of annoyed him.
I was actually really happy that I was working from home and watching it because I just tuned that part out. Like, I did not give a fuck about it. But the Mando stuff going on was badass. If you could have guessed it, he's fucking what's it called? Reborn, I think is the word that they're going with. He made it to the waters of Mandalore and proved it. And a kicker too. Sorry, Josh, is a little bit of a spoiler.
Okay.
They accept Bo-Katan back because Bo-Katan technically hasn't taken her helmet off since also birthing
Going in
again in the
water.
waters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's allowed to stay because
Oh,
that's
wow.
the plot point too. The Empire shows up and fucks her shit up.
Damn.
And so her little island is no longer a thing.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So that's really the
Wow.
important shit that happened. I'm sure the stuff that we saw with the council and the Empire and all that noise is gonna make more sense later. To me, that felt more like Andor-esque, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I kind of see what we're doing. I hope this leads into something good. But we should see. I'm excited, and apparently the one that came out today, as of Wednesday, the 22nd, is apparently really fucking good. Super short,
That's
Spencer
what,
said, but
yeah.
Spencer said it was a
On
really good
Twitter,
episode.
people were going crazy about it.
Yeah, so I don't know what's up with them. I think it's because they're going for 10 this season, right, instead of 8.
Are they?
That's what I thought you guys had
Oh,
said.
okay.
I thought you
Oh,
guys said that. Maybe
I
I
thought
have
it was
that
just 8.
wrong. And then okay, so then if it's 8, I'm a little
We're halfway
disappointed
through.
because these episodes have been short as fuck.
Yeah, they've been short.
I guess shout out The Last of Us because Pedro Pascal is hot as fuck right now. Everyone's watching anything he's in.
Yeah.
And so, like, everyone is probably tuning in, like, well, he's in Mandalorian. At least we can see him in that. I gotta
Yeah.
imagine. Apparently, the views are down a shit ton compared to the other 2 seasons.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm only 2 episodes in, and it's not because I'm not watching it because it's bad. I'm just, these come out on Wednesdays, and the way we record things, it's kind of hard to watch them. And I think you're like this too. I'm a true iPad kid. Where when I'm eating something, especially like
Yep.
something that I go out and get some nice food, like I want to watch something good. I don't want to
Yep.
just watch some trash YouTube. So I'll turn on like a show that I'm saving, and this is like it right
That's
now.
basically where I'm at. And right now, I'm basically watching these every Friday after work when I'm eating before I go out. I'll just fucking turn it on and be like, all right, cool, I got it.
Okay.
And that helps at work because we give everyone a 2 days grace where if you didn't see it, fine. We're going to talk about it. We're going to make sure you're not near. But after that, it's open rage. Like, you should have fucking seen it by now.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And yeah, so next week though for John Wick, we'll be caught up. And,
Oh, yeah.
And we'll give a little bit more of a spoiler
That's
talk.
going to be a good fucking episode. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm so hyped. I'm glad, too, we're going Friday, so I'll actually be able to come in and see it with you boys.
Yeah, that'd be cool. The day this episode comes out.
Yep. Day that this drops.
You ready to talk Shazam?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. The film continues the story of teenage Billy Batson, who, upon reciting the magic word Shazam, is transformed into an adult superhero alter ego, Shazam. This movie has a 52% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, but an 87% Rotten Tomato scores by audiences. What do you think of that, Brian?
I definitely see why. I definitely see why it's getting these scores, and it makes sense. So when you look at it from a critic standpoint, this movie's fucking kind of hot garbage. There's not really a lot going on, not a lot that I cared about. And but on the aspect of as a viewer, it was fun. Now, I will say, I think the first one was a lot fucking better. And I'll admit, I told Josh this before we started recording. That was actually my first time watching all the way through. I had thought that I watched it with my boy That was a lie. Apparently, I only watched like 20 minutes of it because I remembered none of that shit. But that first one was a banger, so that's why I was super like underwhelmed. I'm not gonna say disappointed, but underwhelmed
Yeah.
because again, it is DC. You can't expect a lot from them these days. And yeah, but I, it was fun. What did you think?
Yeah, so I'm in the same boat as you. I th- it's tough because I actually like the first one a lot. I think it's one of the few DCEU movies that I like.
100%.
And I get that most of the DC movies are a little darker and stuff like that. I like that. Like they kind of steer away from like the kind of Marvel kids stuff. But like
Yeah.
this movie and even the first movie, they're made more for kids, I think.
Yeah,
And
well, I will say though, that first one, dude, like
yeah,
that, it was kind of scary as fuck. Like if you were a kid watching that, like I could imagine me as a kid watching that and being like, "Yo, what the hell?"
yeah.
Because you have those fucking like basically they look like gargoyles, but it's the seven sins, and they're just literally eating people and tossing them around, and then they do that badass silhouette where you just hear "Help me," and it's one lady banging on the glass, and before you know it, it's like 4 or 5 people banging on the glass trying to get out where they're getting killed.
Yeah,
So
but what
that
did
was
you think of the
cool.
villains in this one compared to the first one?
So
I feel like they're
I
kind of
think
forgettable in this.
they're very forgettable, bro. Like I finished watching this movie on lunch. I mean, I saw it in theaters. Uh, yeah, they're just I I get it, I
Hmm.
guess. But not really notable in any sense. I thought the first guy, the doctor, he's not Dr. Nin, something like that, though. That doctor guy, he played a good ass fucking villain. And they fucking ended the first one and making it seem like he was gonna come back. So like where the fuck was he? I thought for
He's in a
sure he
post
was gonna.
credit screen. You watch
Oh, they
those?
didn't they didn't have the second one. They only had the first one.
Ah, okay. He shows up at the very end. He's still in the prison cell. He has both eyes.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So, what? Let me ask you this because we saw Black Adam. We
Hmm.
reviewed, and Black Adam is a Shazam villain, even though the
Yeah.
both
Are
movies
are we
came
gonna
in.
talk about The Rock? Or can we talk about that now that that came
Yeah,
out like 2 days ago?
yeah.
That was fucking crazy. Dwayne The Rock Johnson basically told, was it
Levi.
Zachary Levi to like get fucking lost. Like he showed up on set and The Rock was like, no, like this is my shit. And he's trying to do a movie with fucking like Henry Cavill, and it's like, dude, how are you gonna be Shazam's main fucking villain and block Shazam from fucking showing up? Like that is so ignorant.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's like you have both these movies come out within months of each other. It's not even a
Hmm.
year, and they're not tied in at all.
Yeah, that is fucking crazy to me. And that's what's different. And again, if these were good movies, then it'd be like, oh fuck, like that's the difference between DC. Like you don't even tie anything together. You just kind of know. But
Yeah.
that's not the case here. We know that's not the case. There's no bigger picture. And honestly, me and my roommate were texting about it just real briefly. And he was like, yeah, it was like a cool movie, but like I kind of towards the end like didn't care because now all this is gonna get erased after Flash. And
Yeah.
it's like, fuck, like that's so true as well. And again, I if they're gonna go with the darker tone and shit, I just don't even know if Shazam's gonna come back. You feel
Yeah.
me? Like where the
Yeah.
fuck would he fit?
Yeah, and honestly too, I feel like this movie would have benefited more if it came out like a year or two after the first one did, not,
Hmm.
4 or 5 years. I think the
Yeah,
first
which
one
is
came out in
crazy. I
2017 or
I
18.
forgot that it was that fucking long ago
Yeah.
that the first one came out. And again, I think what was weird about this one compared to the first one, it was like it felt forced almost with like the childish humor. Because again, you got to remember, like, yeah, it's Zachary Levi, but he's supposed to be portraying a 16-year-old boy that has a grown man's body.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and so like they're gonna have him be up to antics and shit like that, but at the same time, it's kind of like kind of played out.
yeah. Well, I know too, like in the first movie, the gripe people had with it, and I can see it too for sure, is that adult Shazam or adult Billy and Kid Billy felt like two different people. Like Kid
Hmm.
Billy was more serious and
Hmm.
he just had a different personality, whereas adult Billy was like more playful and like funny and stuff like that. Whereas in this movie, they do feel more like the same character to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but in this too, I hope this kid doesn't get the Anakin Skywalker treatment from the first Phantom Menace.
Mhm.
He's a good actor, don't get me wrong, but he just kind of felt like a bitch in this one.
Mm.
I don't know
Kid
what it
Billy?
was. Yeah, Kid Billy just kind of pissed me off in this one. Again, I didn't mind him in the first one, but the second one, and then on top of that, fucking oh god, I'm blanking on his name. One sec.
Freddy?
Freddy.
Yeah.
Freddy felt annoying in this one too. Like Freddy finally got to become a superhero, and then he's doing all this shit that he got mad at Shazam doing in the first one. And it's just
Yeah.
like, dude, like you wrote the blueprint on this. You said that whole spiel in the first one about how he's not playing for a team and it's just himself. And that's what he goes out and does for the whole first half of this fucking movie and gets captured.
Yeah. Well, that's the
And
thing. Most of this movie, he doesn't even have powers.
no,
Okay.
that was weird, but also kind of cool how that worked.
Yeah.
I did like the staff, and it's funny. I liked how it started at the museum, and again, because it's DC, they don't really give a fuck. Like they'll straight up be like, "Yeah, these villains killed these people. Like they murdered everybody in that museum. Like
Yeah.
that was crazy as hell."
Well, too, you know what? The janitor from Peacemaker is the
Mhm.
same person who works at the museum. That same
Well,
guy.
okay,
Isn't that crazy? And they're
I
tied in
recognize that
together.
guy from other movies, but I thought as well that he was like in something DC, and I couldn't put my
Yeah.
finger on it. So thank you.
Yes, I don't know if he got a different job or what that because they tied into Peacemaker at the end, but
Right.
um I was like, what? So but yeah, no, you're right. Like that staff was like kind of a way to nerf Team Shazam in a way
Mhm.
because I mean, all six of them having the powers of Shazam is
Yeah.
nuts. Like it's too OP. How are you gonna stop it? So
Yeah, and it is funny too how they talk about how it's this ancient staff and it hasn't been seen in thousands of years. And like, and we just randomly found it in Philadelphia, broke it in half. And that's funny to think of that continuity. Like, it's not even an error. They just rolled with it. Like, yep, this fucking staff's in the middle of Philly now.
that was funny. Yeah, that part where he's like, I just broke it and left it there.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
he goes, you guys were all there. You watched me.
yeah, that part was really funny. And then the note when it arrived in
Hmm.
that other realm and she's reading it, that
Hmm.
was really funny
Yeah, that
too.
was a good scene
That was really funny. I
where
like
he's
the
talking.
pen.
What was the pen's name? Was it Sam?
It was like Kevin or something
Yeah,
funny. I don't
yeah,
know.
something
Some
like that.
some normal name.
That was really cool.
Yeah,
Cause and
that
then
was funny.
it's funny too that that motherfucker just hid that whole secret room from them. Like he had
Yeah.
found it, stumbled upon it, just didn't say anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that part
Uh,
was funny.
what was I gonna say? I want to give shouts out to. I'm about to butcher his name, maybe. Uh,
Hmm.
oh fuck, I'm looking at. It, I don't even know the wizard.
Oh,
Digimon? Is that how you say it?
yeah,
Digimon?
yeah. Uh
Hansu. I'm apologizing if you're listening to the Mr. Hansu, Mr. H. If you're listening right now, big fan. For those of you that don't know him, yeah, he was in Guardians. He gives a fuck about that. He's the coach from Never Back Down, one of the best
yeah.
fucking movies ever made. That's where
Yeah.
I was in. That's where all real men and women were introduced to this guy. This guy has been around for years, and I'm glad that he's getting his fucking bag between the Marvel bag, between now the DC bag. Like I love him.
Yeah, and I
So
love
shouts
how
out
his name's
him.
just Wizard.
Yeah, dude. And you know what was really funny? The scene that killed me was when he's having that dream and it's him on a date with Wonder Woman, and then the wizard's face just takes over. That was funny as fuck because I thought that was funny as hell too. In the first one, Superman technically shows up, but they never show his head. It's
Yeah.
so that way
That's a good gag.
you don't even know if it's Henry Cavill or not.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about the dome. I want to ask you your opinion on that. What did you
Mhm.
think of that? Apparently, there was rumors that they're going to get a certain superhero like Superman or something like that to show up halfway through the movie, try to hit the dome to get in to help them, and then
Mhm.
can't get in because magic. But obviously they didn't end up doing that because Henry
Yeah.
Cavill's not Superman anymore. But
Mhm.
what was your thoughts on that?
I mean, it was kind of badass. That was like one of the only moments where the village felt badass because you're like, now we can watch you burn and like while you're trapped for eternity. And like that
Mhm.
would just be the end of that bloodline right there for everybody trapped in that fucking dome. I thought that was pretty cool. But again, it felt shitty because it's like you're just doing this to get back at a bunch of little kids, like literally. Like,
Exactly.
and I think that's a funny thing to think about too. Is like they're battling that youngest girl has to be like what 10 years old.
Yeah.
So like they're battling actual kids, and it's just like, man, what the fuck?
Yeah, too, and like to bring it back one more time to like Kid Billy and Adult Billy, it's
Mhm,
kind of weird because the Mary character is now like when she's in her superhero form, it's still her, that
mhm.
actress, right?
Yeah,
Whereas like for Kid Billy, the actor's 20,
yeah,
and Zachary Levi looks like he's middle aged, right?
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like it's kind of weird there. I don't know, that kind of threw me off a little bit
Yeah,
when watching the movie.
it definitely threw me off because again, the rest of the kids look pretty much the fucking same, but you can tell Billy fucking grew up.
Yeah.
Like, and that's natural. And we kind of knew that that was going to come. And I was interested after watching the first one. I was like, oh boy, I wonder what they're going to do here. If they're going to like CGI it, like how they did Bruce Willis and fucking Looper. And,
Yeah.
it made him look different. I thought maybe something like that. But that wasn't the case for this. And it is what it is. Because again, Zachary Levi is the star of the show. So, like, I get it. You can't fuck up his face like that. It's him,
Yeah.
and everyone knows that. So,
Well,
it
do you
is
think
what it
if
is, but it's annoying.
do you think the kid Freddy would have been better for Zachary Levi to play though? Like
Hmm.
the actor, the kid version of Freddy being Billy. Like I feel like that actor is so charismatic and goofy that I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. I get what you're saying because again, like you said, people's biggest gripe with the first one is Billy so serious. And again, it does make sense because that storyline is fucking good. Like he's running away from foster homes, families that actually want to take him in and care about him. And you find out, oh, he wasn't just separated from his mom and lost. Like, no, you find out the mom just fucking saw him with the police and was like, you know what? Wiping my hands with this. I'm done. Fuck that
Yeah.
lady. Uh
Left at a carnival.
yeah, dude, a Christmas carnival at that. That's like the happiest time of the year. This kid didn't
Yeah.
get to celebrate Christmas with his family or nothing.
Yeah. Oh,
Eh,
dude, in this movie when he calls his foster mom, that
oh
part was
yeah,
like
I
that
teared
part was
up.
so sad.
I
Yeah.
fucking I love the parents, bro. I
Yeah.
forget
Oh,
who
so
but the
funny.
dad was in, but I fucking love that guy. When I saw him in the first one, I was like, let's fucking go. Because again,
Yeah.
they're super understanding in the first one, and you can tell in the second one that now there's like actually a bond. Because Billy at the end of the first one does the all hands on deck thing, and he like leads it, and that's cool.
Mhm.
And now you see like they are a family, and it's adorable. But the thing is that they don't know that all of their kids are literally Shazam.
Yeah, he's like, why does my house keep getting hit with
Yeah,
lightning
yeah,
bolts?
yeah. He goes, I told you, I don't know. It just keeps getting struck by lightning.
That part
Now,
was funny.
I want to know, we're kind of jumping to the end, obviously,
Mhm.
happy ending. But when he asked the wizard, he's like, can we all get our powers back? He's like, no, not just kidding, yes. And then even the parents' face lit up. Do you think he spread the powers to the foster parents or
Well,
no?
that's the thing. So the dad rose his hand,
Yeah, yeah,
which
exactly.
is pretty
So
funny. I assume the parents didn't, but it would be
yeah.
funny to see if he had powers. Obviously, that
Hmm.
would be really funny. So
Right. But yeah, all in all, I mean, like, it is a fun fucking movie, but there was just like you said, and I'm glad that you brought it up that these like villains weren't that menacing. And what was kind of cool was I kind of thought that the new girl befriending Freddy was like one of the villains, but in this extent, she was actually good. Like she didn't even know Freddy was one of the Shazams, like at all. And
yeah,
then it just so happened that when he turned into Shazam, also fucking idiot, dude, fucking idiot. I hate him. I can't believe he's being this loosey goosey with his powers again after all the shit he gave Billy in the first one. And then yeah, so he turned into Shazam, and then boom, the sisters pop up and like smoke him and take his powers.
yeah,
And it's like you did it to yourself, dude. You did it to yourself. Like you could have dodged it. Maybe they could have like smelled it on him, but he still could have dodged it.
yeah. They wouldn't have known that a kid,
Hmm.
right? So I don't. And apparently, it seemed like she didn't really know at first either. So
No, she was shocked because again she was talking to him and it was like, "Where's Billy?" or
yeah,
where's Freddy?"
yeah. And she when I saw Rachel Zegler
Hmm.
on screen, I was like, because I just watched West Side Story not too long ago,
Hmm.
and the Steven Spielberg one, and that was really good. And she stars in it. So I was like, I know who this actress is. She's kind of a bigger name actress. Like she's not just some random love interest for a side character.
Hmm.
So I figured, like you, I was like, she must be one of the bad sisters. So when they're like, there's three, I was like, okay, well,
Yep.
you know. But I want to know this too. What did you think of the sacrifice at the end? Let's talk about that. The fight with the dragon, right? The all that.
So that was an emotional ass scene because again, though this movie's funny, goofy, haha, you got to remember it's a group of foster kids with their foster parents. None of them know their parents, and obviously this is like any catastrophic event will bring you together, but this is like 10 times whatever anyone could expect because they literally fought a fucking villain, saved the world. Um, I thought it was kind of heartfelt there where he's like, I gotta quit running from things and like I gotta do this. And everyone's like, no. And then the fact that he actually died too at the end, it was like, holy fuck, like he did it, like he sacrificed himself. And I genuinely thought he was gonna stay dead because I was like, oh fuck, now they're just wiping their hands with Shazam. Like that makes
Yeah,
sense. Just
yeah,
ended here. He made the sacrifice, he saved the world. Um,
yeah. And when
But
he's
I
laying there, his kid Billy too, and you're like, well, he'll wake up, he'll cough and get up, and
right, exactly.
no,
I thought he'd like tell Freddy, be like, haha, got you, and like be
yeah,
injured as fuck, but not like dead.
yeah.
Hang on, sorry. Spencer was texting me about the John Wick ticket. Do
Oh
you know
no,
if
you're good.
anyone bought G9?
I'm not sure. Can
All
look
right.
or text in the
Well,
group chat.
because we have fucking like 4 through 8 or something like that. I think so. Just buy it. I'll tell just buy it last person move.
Yeah,
All
Andrew
right.
never sent me a picture of it.
All right. Sorry to derail, but he's like, I got 4 minutes, bro. It's like, all right, chill out.
Nah, you're good.
But
Um,
the dragon, I'm trying to think, what the fuck did the dragon remind you of? Because at first I was thinking blobs.
oh really?
Yeah, a
See,
little
I did
bit.
think I thought Game of Thrones a little bit. I liked when he
Hmm.
said the Khaleesi line too. I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of funny.
That was funny as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, what did you think too of her power, Calypso, or where she's the bad one at the very end, where she like is she can tell people what to do and it like messes with their head, but
Hmm.
like Freddy was able to like fight it off, which I get that it's supposed to show how strong he is, but it's like you're really not that strong where you can control a kid. I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, but again, you gotta imagine this is a fucking that I thankfully we never knew how rough a foster home life would be bouncing around as a kid. So you have that going on, but on
Mm,
top of that, he's a fucking cripple. And you
mm.
see him getting bullied, and literally when he stands up for the new girl, what's her name?
And Anthea.
Anthena. So when he's talking to her, and then the two bullies from the first one come up, and then he's just talking shit to them, and like that just kind of proves his character. So I thought that was cool because, like, yeah,
Yeah,
sure, he probably shouldn't be able to manipulate a fucking witch,
yeah,
and it is what it is. But I thought that was a cool thing. It's like, damn, this kid's just so strong, man. He's been through so fucking much that he could fight back that much.
yeah,
I didn't mind
yeah.
that completely. What did you think of both that and the dragon fight scene and the dome?
Yeah, so the dome I thought actually kind of made sense.
Mhm.
I know we've seen like a lot of I know growing up we would watch Marvel movies like Iron Man 3 and be like, why didn't Captain America or Thor come help and
Yeah.
find where Tony was, right?
Mhm.
Like things like that. So I think that was kind of cool for this movie to be like, well, like Superman and Batman literally couldn't help. Like
Yeah,
they
nobody
literally
could
couldn't
get
get in and
in.
help.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I liked all that. That was cool. Um I like the part where Freddy did like fight off the mind control. But it did come across my mind too. I'm like, damn, she can't even stop like a kid, like, who's not super powered up right now. Like,
Yeah.
so I thought about that. And yeah, I thought the dragon looked cool. I think it was kind of cool that it was like made out of wood, like
Mhm.
that had that kind of look, to it. And yeah, the sacrifice at the end, I thought that was pretty cool too. I liked how like his suit became like black just from the fire.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. And I was like, holy shit, it's Black Adam.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to ask you too, while we're on that, do you think this movie, because Black Adam came out recently, it
Mhm.
was the last DC movie before this. Where do you think this lines up with that? I mean, do you think this was better than that? Because I have your grade,
Man.
right here for Black
What
Adam.
did I give Black Adam? Like a 60
Give
something, right?
58.
A
I give it a
58.
68.
You give it a 68,
I
58.
think I like this a little more than Black Adam.
Honestly, that's on par because honestly, spoiler, I'm gonna give this a 56.
Okay.
I did enjoy Black Adam a little bit more. You throw the Rock in there, and he wasn't technically just
Oh, so
being
you
the
like Black
Rock the
Adam
whole time.
more?
I like Black Adam a little more. I can't
Ah,
even
okay.
lie. Like there was funnier scenes like when Black Adam, they'd be like talking about like when they wanted to interrogate the guy, and then he goes, he's dead. As we watch him fucking fall after he tossed him like miles into the air. I thought
Uh,
that shit was funny. I don't know. I feel like Black Adam just had a couple more funnier scenes. Again, both kind of dog shit movies, but they were fun to watch.
yeah,
But yeah, I again maybe this movie would have been better if Black Adam was the fucking villain.
that'd been cool.
It would have been cool, or at least if we would have saw him pulling the strings, and maybe if they somehow do a third one and the Rock gets off his fucking high horse, you'll find out Black Adam was pulling the strings on this. Who
Yeah,
knows? But again, you genuinely forget watching Black Adam that he's a Shazam villain because there's no tie to Shazam unless you know that already going into it. Like, sure,
yeah.
you could tell by the lightning bolt, but again, by the time I watched Black Adam, I technically hadn't even seen Shazam 1. So I went
Mm.
into it only knowing it was Shazam's villain because you guys had told me.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, because in the comics, like Black Adam would fight Superman every once in a while, but like he is
Hmm.
mainly Shazam's villain. Obviously, I mean the same
Yeah.
power set, same looking suit, right? It's
Hmm.
like all that stuff. So, yeah, and then too, like as we mentioned, this is kind of the end of the DCU before it gets rebooted in Flash, which is the
Mhm.
next movie coming out June
I
16th.
just rewatched Flashpoint after I watched Shazam 1. I rewatched
I
Flashpoint.
can't
I'm
wait.
so geeked. I'm so geeked.
Yeah, I can't wait. Who was the actor that just asked to watch it? Didn't someone just ask to watch it or something and loved it?
Oh yeah. I think
It's
someone
all
had
over
tweeted
Twitter.
something about it, and then they were like, you could watch the Flashpoint animated. He was like,
Oh, it was Tom
"What?"
Cruise, I think maybe. It was Tom Cruise, and he asked if he could watched it and loved it. I
Mhm.
don't know. And then James Gunn, even though he's CEO, did say like, it's the best superhero movie he's ever seen. I'm excited.
I am.
I'm
They're
excited for it.
saying it's Dark Knight level, bro. So I'm
Yeah.
hyped for it. I can't lie. From that trailer alone, I'm pretty hyped for it.
Yeah. But I want to ask, with Wonder Woman showing up, actually showing up, Gal Gadot, I read that it was a stand-in and that she just recorded it somewhere else, like her
That's funny
face.
as fuck. That's
Yeah,
on brand for DC, bro.
it is.
These people, like these actors and actresses, are just like, fuck it, give me my bag, but on my time. Like, I'm not coming to see you. Here's what you need. Do your
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, and now she's not even Wonder Woman like, anymore, like actually.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
that was hype as fuck, dude. Because again, you're sitting there like, holy shit, he's actually dead, and they're burying him, and then you just hear the and you're like, oh shit. I got
yeah.
geeked because again, I'm watching it at my lunch on my desk, and I'm just like, let's go. And everyone's like, what? And I'm like, oh, sorry. I couldn't believe it. Again, I just didn't know they had the budget to bring in someone like that. But it's funny because technically they didn't bring her in.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really funny. Especially with that gag like we mentioned earlier with the wizard's face on her
Yep.
body was kind of funny.
Hmm.
So, um and then yeah, and then we can just talk, I guess he came back to life.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was pretty hype. Really
Yeah.
quick, the wizard, the fact he came back to life, because
Yeah.
technically he was dead,
Yeah,
and
Ashes.
yep, miraculously came back to life. So that was pretty tight. But again, I love him as an actor, so I was
What
happy to
did you
see
think
him.
of that part? I just want to mention this, the part where he's pulling the splinter out of his fingernail like that, like, from the
Oh
from the stick.
yeah,
That was hard to watch, that
yeah, that
part.
was hard to
Made me
watch.
cringe a little.
I like turned my phone. I was like, ah.
Yeah, that was kind of, but he did great. He was like one of my favorite characters. I liked him a lot, and I liked Kid Freddy. I thought they were just both funny, and I thought, I
That's a
liked
good
their
duo.
story, and yeah, I liked them together. Yeah, that was
Mhm.
cool. So
And that's where you could be right, where it's like Kid Billy would have been, or sorry, Kid Freddy would have been probably a better Shazam,
yeah,
casting wise.
yeah.
But whatever. What do we
Yeah,
know?
and then post credit scene, apparently Hawkman and all them from Black Adam were supposed to show up and ask
Oh
if he
shit!
wanted to be in the Justice Society. But I think something happened again with The Rock where he was like, no, they're not using them or something like that. Some huge argument.
Why are they letting this fucker put his foot down on shit that would better the franchise?
I have no clue. I
Like
don't know.
he
So
was
then they had
milking it
these,
just so that way him and Henry Cavill could be in something together. It's like, dude, that's not how this works. Like, I understand what you're going for. Because even the animated movie they have with Superman and Black Adam in it is called Superman and fucking Shazam. Then
yeah,
something about Black Adam at the bottom. And
yeah,
it's just like, dude, this isn't your guy. This
yeah.
is not your guy by any means. Your guy is Shazam, and you fucking know it.
Well, it's the same thing with like, have you heard about the Fast and Furious stuff? Like with him and Vin Diesel. Obviously, there's a ton of stuff, but
They're
in
not
his
friends no
contract,
more, right?
yeah, they're not friends no more. They kept fighting on set constantly about different stuff. They both have in their contracts for Fast and Furious movies that they can't lose a fight. So all their
You know
fights
what? I do
end.
remember that.
Yeah, all their fights end by someone interrupting or something happening where there's no clear winner. Which is crazy. I think Jason Statham might have it in his contract too.
That's
So like
fucking
when you have a
funny.
franchise full of people that can't lose a fight contractually, it's crazy. So
It's like it's not even like no one's gonna walk up to the Rock and be like, "You're a bitch for losing that fight." Like, no, it's just realistic, bro. Like, no one's
yeah,
doing that to Vin Diesel either. Like, god
yeah,
damn.
yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that's kind of, I think we mentioned everything kind of
Yeah,
worth talking
again,
about.
it's a quick fucking movie, dude. It should not have
Yeah,
been that long. They just could have wrapped that bitch in an hour or half,
yeah.
like 90
I
minutes
can
flat.
I can definitely see though kids really liking this movie though, if I'm being
100%.
honest.
Again, we're not the target audience in this one. It feels more playful than the first one, but
Yeah.
also that first one having that dark aspect straight from the beginning was fucking nice. Like I thought that was a good balance.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. You want to get into kind of like scoring it?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, I'm gonna come out give this a 56 only because I enjoyed Black Adam a little more. Honestly, you know what? I'm above it. I'm gonna give it 57 because I like Black Adam more, but just by the littlest a bit. Both are
Little
shit
hair.
show movies, but they're fun. They are fucking fun. And if this is your cup of tea, if you're into superhero movies, definitely go for it. If you're not into superhero movies, don't waste your time. I mean, if
Yeah.
if you don't really care, don't do it. It's gonna hit HBO at some point, I'm assuming. Fucking turn
The
that shit
rumor is
on.
April 18th, which is a
Yeah,
month away.
yeah, fucking send it, bro.
Crazy.
They should be pushing it. I was literally thinking this, like, and I'm so glad. Shout out the real hero of this movie is the fucking guy in Mexico that recorded this for me. Shout out that motherfucker. Everything was in Spanish, bro. Like any like
Damn.
title or anything was in Spanish, but then they spoke perfect English. I was like, how does I don't know how that works in foreign countries. Whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but as I was doing that, I was like, dude, fuck. Like I would give them $10, which is more than I would pay for a movie ticket if I could just rent it off Amazon and watch it at home. Like
Yeah.
I did not need to go to the theater for this. I'm sure it was cool. You had a little date night with your girlfriend, but like me, if I would have came home to see you like see this with you guys, I'd be so mad that we didn't just
Yeah.
go to the bar and play darts at that point. Like fuck.
Well, for the first one, I mean, we might rewind it one day, but like, kind of, what do you think? Would you be in the 80s? You think higher 80s or something like that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna say high 80s. I'd probably score it at like an 81, but that
Okay.
one was good. It was a good origin. It was fun and playful. Like they're
Yeah.
recording him fucking getting his powers and testing it out and shit. And you find out that's actually his downfall because now the main villain's keeping up with what he can and can't do.
Hmm.
And I don't know, it was just it was fun. And again, the idea of the seven deadly sins was really cool and had that darker aspect to it, which I
Yeah.
enjoyed. And again, this one's more lighthearted, more playful. If you have a kid, go out there and show them this movie, go for it. But if you're a casual movie viewer, fucking turn it on if you just want some background noise. And if you're a
Yeah.
superhero fan, don't expect a lot. It's fun watch. You're gonna see more Shazam doing Shazam shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you kind of pieced it all together pretty well. Wasn't a huge fan of the villains, but I think all the acting all around was really good. And I think honestly the CGI looked pretty good too, if I'm being honest. Like
Yeah.
even the dragon and everything looked cool.
How do we
What were you
feel
saying?
though? That 6,000-year-old woman is now hanging out with fucking Freddy.
Yeah,
He's
I know
like
that
6,000 years old.
yeah, and then as soon as they reveal her age, they kiss, and I look over at Sydney and I'm like, that kind of seems inappropriate. And then the dad said the exact same thing. I thought that
Yeah.
was hilarious. Like that just doesn't seem right.
Yep.
Um, which is funny because in real life they're like the same age. So,
Right.
but it's just funny in the aspect of the movie. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give this movie a 69 because I gave Black Adam a 68. I like this one.
Oh,
I think I like this
okay.
one a hair more than
Okay,
that. But I
okay.
I do feel like at the end of the day they're both kind of forgettable.
Mhm.
Whereas like I really enjoyed the first one actually.
Yeah.
So
See, that's what
I
I'm saying. When it comes to forgettableness, this one's out the door, but the first one, fuck yeah.
yeah, and not that the villain was that amazing in the first one. It's just like
Mhm.
compared to the villains in this one, and then like the whole plot, overall, I like the part with the unicorns. I really didn't care about that part.
Mhm.
That part with the Skittles, I felt like a
This
huge advertisement.
that
Like,
was a huge advertisement, but also
yeah,
kind of funny. She goes, now that
oh.
this you guys is the closest to the rainbow we can get. I was like, that's good. That's good. That's funny.
Yeah, and at the end, she's like, "We need more Skittles."
Yeah.
That's so funny. I don't know, but
So then what would you score the first Shazam?
I'd probably be mid 80s.
Mid 80s?
Mid to low 80s,
Respectable,
yeah.
respectable.
Yeah. Yeah, probably 83, 84, somewhere
Mhm.
that range. Because and two, I told you, or I told the group chat this, I'm like, it kind of has a Christmassy vibe too. You can make the argument it's a Christmas movie in a way,
You
right? I
could.
mean,
It's no Iron Man 3, but
no Iron Man 3, but you could argue,
right.
so, but yeah.
Also really quickly, another scene that was kind of funny was when the older sister has the glasses on and they're like talk about her going to the eye doctor. And he's like, you
Yeah.
were at the eye doctor all night. She goes, I was hanging out with friends my age. She's like, you made friends at the eye doctors? And they're like, ignore that.
Yeah, that whole part was really funny. Um, but yeah, that was our Shazam Fury of the Gods review.